Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics and very strange events. I've been talking about quite a few of the events this weekend, not just the People's March, of course, but also what's been going on behind closed doors in terms of Theresa May and the far right in her party, the arch Brexiteers. So at the weekend, both hardline Brexiteer MPs and supporting newspapers were suggesting that Theresa May could get support for her deal if she announced her resignation. In fact, The Sun, which is one of the main Tory newspapers, was pretty much laying it out for their readers that actually all Theresa May has to do is say she'll resign and her deal will go through. To which the obvious question should be, so what happened to all those objections about the backstop then? Those MPs voted down her deal time and again because they said it was a bad deal and no deal was actually better. So why are they prepared to now vote for something, or so they say, that they are saying is a worse deal than a no-deal Brexit? And all without any changes whatsoever to what they call a bad deal. And more importantly, why aren't the supporters of the no-deal Brexit around the country wondering why their champions in Parliament and the media are now suddenly saying that actually they'll support the deal as long as Theresa May goes? Will those same people change their tune again? After all, first of all, they said that we should stay in the single market because their Brexiteer masters were saying that. Then they switched to, oh no deal is the goal. That's what we voted for, because those same Brexiteers switched the day after the referendum. They forcibly said that May's deal was a bad deal and that no deal was better, because that's what the Brexiteers were saying. And now, are they going to say that the withdrawal agreement, complete with backstop, is now completely fine? It was only ever Theresa May being Prime Minister that was the problem with the deal. Seriously, I actually would like to know, because this seamless transition between wanting completely contradictory things, to me, seems like a classic case of doublespeak. And for those who haven't read Orwell's 1984, this is what the authoritarian regime in the book uses to control its people. It's the notion that you can believe two contradictory things at once, that facts can be changed in an instant and people move seamlessly from believing one thing absolutely to the next second believing the opposite just because they've been told to. Frankly, using the term democracy to justify not having a public vote on something is just the tip of the Brexit doublespeak iceberg. And how would that get her deal through anyway? If every single Tory MP voted for her deal, and that would be to assume that all the people that went to Chequers represent the people on the government benches that are not currently voting it through. So in other words, if she got agreement with them, every single Conservative MP would vote for her deal. So let's say that were true, which I'm sure it's not. But let's say it were. That still doesn't get her deal through. The likes of Jacob Rees-Mogg and Dominic Raab and people like that can't actually get her deal through. They can get it closer, a lot closer. She'd still need the DUP at least on board. And I've not heard them say anything about giving a rat's arse who leads that bunch of clowns. They don't give a crap about Theresa May stepping down. That doesn't do it for them. Their objection is the backstop. So they're desperate to avoid that scenario. And that is part of the deal, and that's not changing. So they're not going to support it. And then what happens if MPs who previously backed her deal say that they will no longer back her deal, especially if she capitulates in this way to the ERG? I mean, bear in mind, first of all, there's a lot of moderates in the party who do not like what the ERG are doing, and they may withdraw their support on that basis. There's a number of MPs already said they would withdraw their support after the way she behaved last week with that live televised speech from Downing Street, where we can see her exiting stage left behind me. So if the Remain portion of the party have not ramped up tensions before now, which they haven't, she may well find that agreeing to this, well, they've got some bite after all. And why are the far right so keen to get Theresa May to stand down? Sure, she's incompetent, and you would think that, generally speaking, would be grounds enough for dismissing a Prime Minister, certainly. But what caused her incompetence was appeasing the very people who want her gone the most. After all, what they got with her was someone who was acceptable to the moderate part of the party, but also kept appeasing the far right part of the party. Whoever they're going to get in next knows that they can't just do what she did. They'd have to do something. It could be what they want them to do, but it could equally be moving far away from them. If she does resign, do they really think they're going to be able to stick one of their own kind on the throne and that's the end of it? Now, I don't actually know how the Parliamentary Conservative Party would feel about that, because they're going to ultimately decide sort of after the Parliamentary Party decide on candidates. But I know that the Parliamentary Conservative Party wouldn't countenance it. And this may well be another reason why Theresa May is clinging to power, because she is not resigning. She's not stepping down. Her days are surely numbered. You know, we're very much getting to the point where someone has to make a decision. As I was talking about yesterday, the situation is, has just been spelled out by the government today, but I want to talk more about the votes that are going on today later on when they've happened. What the government made very, very clear today is that we've got an extension up to April the 12th if we want it. It seems to be taken as read we do want it. If the deal passes this week, and it's still doubtful whether it'll even be put up for a vote, but if it passes this week, we can have up to May the 22nd. More about that in the next video. But the ERG don't want to vote for her deal. They say they will if she steps down. But remember, it's still not going to go through because the DUP will vote it down. It'll miss by a few votes, but it'll still be down. That's it. The EU will say no. And it makes no difference. I mean, let's say, as I say, every single Tory MP voted for it, and there's the potential 7 MPs on the opposition benches. It'd be really tight. It might only miss by a few votes. But those few votes would still be enough. And I don't think the EU would allow it to carry on, because she could argue, oh, it's super close now. Yeah, another vote will totally get it. And they'll look at it and go, no, you did that by having every single one of your MPs vote for it. And like I said, I don't believe for a second every single one of her MPs will vote for it. I think there's a few dozen at least that will not. Whether it be ones that have not been voting for it so far and still won't, or whether it be ones who have but go, no, you're appeasing the ERG, we're not voting for it now, is up in the air. So that being the case, she now has to take a direction, or the government has to take a direction, even if they assassinate her and put someone else in the place. They either move towards a no deal, which I already explained this weekend, that is actually illegal, but that doesn't mean to say they won't do it. Or they move towards the longer extension. The EU have drawn a line in the sand. You know, the only way we get an extension beyond April the 12th is with a commitment to taking part in the European elections. That is anathema for the Conservative Party. That splits them right down the middle. Or at least it splits them roughly in the middle. So the reality is, at some point, the can cannot be... We've got to the end of the road for kicking the can down. A direction has to be chosen. Even if Parliament does nothing, even if Parliament carries on sitting back doing nothing, yes, the government are blocking them all the time, but they could take the initiative away from her. If that happens, a direction has to be chosen. It's simple as that. So she may take the view that her stepping down just creates a divisive situation, because if they try and install someone to replace her that's on the very far right of the party, that will have a load of moderates. Well, some of them may even leave the party. If, on the other hand, it's someone who's in her position, moderate, Remainer, but at the same time not willing to do what Theresa May did in trying to appease the far right, then of course it splits it the other way. So, you know, she only appeased the ERG, bear in mind, not because she agrees with them at all. It was part of her Brexit strategy to keep the party together. But a leadership contest right now exposes those divisions that she procrastinated so hard to try and cover up. So she might actually, even if she's willing now to step down, be not stepping down just out of a belief that if she does, then the party splits. And like I said yesterday, I'd have called their bluff anyway, but she obviously doesn't. She believes that they will split the party. So she continues to be paralysed by fear, not able to do anything, but to carry on with her mantra, which I saw her doing today, answering questions in the House, saying, if you want to stop this, you vote for my deal. If you want to stop this, vote for my deal. You say you don't want no deal, vote for my deal. That's her line. But it's all a mess. But yeah, they're coming back to the beginning bit. What the hypocrisy of saying that this deal is bad, we cannot vote for this deal, you've got to change this, got to change the deal. But we'll vote for the deal if you step down. This deal that you say is really bad for the country. You'll do it if a person steps down who's going to not be there in a year's time anyway. And why are their supporters not querying this? Why are the people who read these newspapers not querying this and thinking, hang on a minute, why are we voting for a bad deal just to get her out of the way? But anyway, those are my thoughts for now. There'll be another one a bit later on in terms of how the voting has been going. So that should keep you for now. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe for further content. Until next time, I'll see you later.